Okay, Super Scholars, welcome to your second video of the day. Again, I am so happy you're here, and I'm so proud of you for starting off our second grade year nice and strong. So our next video today, we are going to talk about some rules and expectations that we have when we are on Zoom together. Zoom is a really special time. We only get a few days a week to see everyone's face and interact with each other online. So, because we have such a limited time on Zoom, just like we would have rules in the classroom, we are going to have rules on Zoom that every single person in our class will be expected to follow. We have these rules to make sure everybody knows what's happening, to make everyone feel safe, and to make sure we can use our time on Zoom the best we can. So we are going to have 5 Zoom rules, but today we are just going to talk about the first 3, and tomorrow we'll talk about 4 and 5. So today we're just going to focus on 3 of our Zoom rules. So that means our goal today for this video is I can identify our Zoom rules number 1, 2, and 3. So your goal at the end of this lesson is going to be to know rules 1, 2, and 3 for us on Zoom. Okay, let's get started. So, our first rule on Zoom is be ready when duty calls. So I've got these cute little super kids with us. So, be ready when duty calls. Our duty is going to be going on Zoom. So what does it mean to be ready when duty calls? It means that I need you to come to Zoom on time. If we say we're going to start at 9 o'clock, I need you logging in at 9 o'clock. It also means that you've done everything else in the morning before you come on. You've eaten, you've gotten dressed, that's all been done. You are totally ready for Zoom time. It also means that if I've asked you to bring something to our Zoom meeting, that you have it there with you when you're logging on, so that you don't have to get up and go run to it all of a sudden. That you have everything all ready, all set, you're nice and calm to log into our Zoom meeting exactly when we're starting. So, I'm going to ask you now a question about our first rule. Be ready when duty calls. Why might this rule be important for our Zoom time? I'm not just making it up for no reason. There's an important reason why we need to be ready when duty calls. What do you think that is? I think it's important to be ready when duty calls so that we can start on time and that we can respect everyone's time that's there. And that another reason I think it's important is that sometimes people have places to go, and so we want to make sure that we can get everything we need to get done when we're on Zoom. That's why I think this rule is important. What about you? So to help us remember this rule, we are going to play our Mere Words copy game. Remember, we tried it on Zoom this morning, so we are going to do it again when we are learning our Zoom rules. Okay, are you ready to copy me? I want to hear you nice and loud. Here we go. Mere words. Okay, you got to do that. Mere words. Rule number 1. Be ready when duty calls. Rule number 1. Be ready when duty calls. One more time. Rule number 1. Be ready when duty calls. Mirrors down. Okay, so that was our first round of our copy game. We're going to do them for all our rules. So this is rule number 1. Are you ready for our second? Rule number 2, whoops, is to sit in a super learning spot. We have our little friends sitting in a super learning spot. So this means that when you're on Zoom, you have found a nice spot that you can do your best learning in the whole time we're on Zoom. This means, ideally, that you are sitting in a chair at a table that has a hard surface in case you need to write. Any area in your house that is most similar to a desk that you would have at school. Helps us get in the right mindset. Also, if you're able, try and find a quiet spot in your house. I know sometimes that doesn't happen, but when we have less noise distraction, it helps us concentrate a little bit better. So that's what it means by a super learning spot. Somewhere where you know you can do your best work. So, why might rule number 2 be important? Why would it be important for us to all sit in a super learning spot? I kind of just talked about it. Why would it be important? I think sitting in a super learning spot is important on Zoom because then I can do my best work and I can concentrate in class. They all have a purpose. They help us learn. Okay, so we've got mere words to do for rule number 2. Are you ready? Do you have your hands ready? Is your voice ready? Okay, here we go. Mere words. Mere words. Rule number 2. Sit in a super learning spot. Rule number 2. Sit in a super learning spot. One more time. Rule number 2. Sit in a super learning spot. Mirrors down. Okay, good job. We're getting better at that mirror words. Practice, and we'll have it down pat soon. Okay, so we have done rule number 1 and rule number 2. We have one more to look at today. Rule number 3 says, dress for success. So we've got our little party kids down here in their nice snazzy outfits. So to dress for success means that you are to come to Zoom meetings dressed and out of your pajamas. You can't just roll out of bed and open up the screen. At least put on a new shirt. If you want to put your pajamas on afterwards, that's up to you. But when we're in a Zoom meeting, you need to be dressed like you would if you were having a free dress day at school. So make sure that when you are getting dressed, it's an outfit that you feel really good in so you can do your best work. I love to get dressed in the morning so I can feel like I can tackle anything. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you the same question about rule number 3. Why do you think it would be important to dress for success on Zoom? Why might that be important? What do we think? I think it is important to dress for success on Zoom because everyone can see me and I want to make sure I'm ready for my day. That's why I think it's important to dress for success. Why do you think that's an important rule? Okay, now we have our 3 rules that we're going to learn today. We got to do mirror words for our last one. So let me hear those voices nice and loud. Here we go. Mirror words. Rule number 3. more time. Rule number 3. Dress for success. Mirrors down. Okay, there we go. So we have learned our first 3 Zoom rules. But before we head out of this video, we need to review all those 3 rules together because we're going to do it tomorrow on Zoom. So let's make sure you got it. We are going to do mirror words for all 3 of them. I want this to be your best mirror words yet. We're going to do all 3 of them. Are you ready? Okay, get your hands. Here we go. Mirror words. Rule number 1. Be ready when duty calls. Rule number 2. Sit in a super learning spot. Rule number 3. Dress for success. Mirrors down. Awesome, great job. We have officially learned our first 3 Zoom rules. So now your job is going to be to submit another video of yourself saying our 3 Zoom rules and using those mirror word movements that we just did. So if you don't remember them all, you can go back and watch and practice. But you are going to take a video of you saying the first 3 rules with those mirror word movements, just like we practiced. It's okay to go back and review and do it again if you need to. But I want to see that video with your nice loud voice. Okay, get to work and I can't wait to see.